On YouTube, Cloverbells here, back with another Series 12 team building video, and today we're finally looking at Yveltal Zacian, a very popular favorite amongst the crowd. Why? Because it's been doing really well recently in the recent tours and tournaments. It's been top cutting, and it actually just won Limitless, which was done by Joe, and a bunch of others with the same composition as him also did very well and top cut as well. So let's look at that team first, and then let's look at why that kind of composition is doing so well. But again, it is not what we're building today. I'm just trying to show you why that kind of squad did really well. So first of all, I think the others had, yes, they did have a Grimmsnarl. Then there was a Rotom Heat. Okay, then there was a Gastrodon. Okay, and then there was a Landorus, right? So this was a 6 that was really popular. And for good reason, right? Because first of all, again, if we look at Zacian, of course we know what it can do. We know how strong it is physically. It does a bunch of damage. But what's the one thing that can well, technically two things, but what's the one other restricted that can outspeed it? That's Calyrex Shadow. But you have something that can counter that Calyrex Shadow with an Yveltal. So another restricted that can counter Calyrex Shadow. Now Zacian's just kind of chilling in the back while its partner in crime can finish the job. But generally speaking, what else do we have here? So of course you're gonna have a Grimmsnarl, to set those screens and just set up your bulk, so this way Zacian and Yveltal just don't die. And Yveltal behind screens can just click stuff like Oblivion Wing, recover, deal damage over time, and still sit comfortably behind those screens. Same thing with Zacian, you could just deal a bunch of damage behind those screens. And then Rotom Heat. So the main idea behind Rotom Heat, especially going back to Series 7, it's a good answer against Sun teams because Venusaur can't sleep it, because usually this thing has the safety goggles, right? And you can't really hit it with a ground move because it has Levitate. So Groudon is forced to use something like a non-stab rock move, and yes, it's super effective, but it's not going to kill the Rotom, and the Rotom can just potentially KO the Groudon right back with a Max Flare or an Overheat in the Sun, and Groudon doesn't want to take that. Okay, then you have the Gastrodon. So this is really good again in the Kyogre matchup, and against popular water Pokemon threat in general. So again, the Gastrodon behind Grimmsnarl screens, again, you can just sit there, you can click Yawn and punish those early turn Max. You can recover in the late game, so this way you can out heal them. And then you can just deal some damage and then keep healing with cover and just stall them out until Gastrodon can finish the game. Really good against opposing Zacians because Behemoth Blade's not going to do that much damage, and Kyogre is going to have not a fun time removing this, and then the opponent is forced to run a grass type like a Venusaur or Rillaboom, and if they don't have it, then they have to overpower it, and that's going to be hard to do when you have Grimmsnarl screens and recover, right? Because then while this is recovering, everything else next to Gastrodon is dealing a bunch of damage, right? And then Landorus, a lot of them were either Life Orb or Lumberry. This Landorus, again, behind screens, you can Dynamax this, you can deal Max Quake, and start powering up your Zacian or Yveltal, start boosting up your Gastrodon, Airstream, make everything faster. And even when it's not Dynamax, you can Earthquake next to Rotom, you can Earthquake next to Yveltal. And it's very good synergy overall, and there's a reason why this 6 is very strong and why it's always topping tours right now. So to me, this is one of the big teams to beat in the meta. But again, that's not what we're building today. We're going to be looking at something else. We're going to be looking at Yveltal Zacian a little bit differently, but still effective and still fun to use. All right, so let's remove this 4. All right, we'll start from scratch. Technically we're going to have that guy, but we're still going to build it from scratch. So without further ado, let's just take a look at the 6 that we're going to do. Okay, so we're starting from scratch with Yveltal Zacian. So from here, I think what we want also is a little bit of speed control, and we're going to add Regieleki on this team, and it's pretty good into Kyogre matchups and other water types in general, like Blastoise or Lapras, or other flying types like a mirror matchup with Yveltal. Regieleki can come in the clutch there. Now, the main thing you have to worry about is those Gastrodons and those Seismitoads, but again, you can always overpower it with the rest of your team. Now, from here, speaking of overpowering, we are going to add the Landorus in the next slot here. So I like Landorus here. I like Landorus and Gieleki together because you can go for those electrowebs, and then Landorus can potentially outspeed things by going for Airstreams now, and now Gieleki can outspeed those threats if they had a speed boost in general. You can always lead Yveltal Regieleki also. Electroweb plus Yveltal is also really, really nice. And yeah, just overall good speed control, good pivot mon. And in case of a ground type attack, you can always volt switch or pivot out into a Landorus or an Yveltal, and now they're sad, right? So we got these two. They're very strong together, but now from here, what are we gonna do? I still like, this Mom Blastoise. I mean, I know it's not Gashadon or anything, but Zacian really likes Blastoise on its team, just because you deal a bunch of maybe not big damage, but you deal solid damage in a Dynamax format, and Rillaboom is dropping off a lot, I have to say, and if Rillaboom's dropping, then there's even more reason to run Blastoise, and you just go for those big Hydro Cannons. You have the Ice move for double residuals. Things are chipping away, and then Yveltal and Zacian can just finish the job when things are losing half their health every other turn. And you get other good utility things like Yawn. You can get Fake Out. You get Helping Hand. These are all very, very good tools that Blastoise can have when it's not Dynamax. And that's why I like Blastoise. It doesn't need to max to be good. You can always have those good supporting moves when it's not in Dynamax. So I really like this. It's good with Landorus, good with Regieleki, and in the end game, Zacian and Yveltal can just finish the job. Okay, now from here, in the last slot, I think we're gonna try something a little bit more fun but still effective. We're gonna put the Amoongus here, the Regenerator. So the thing is, sometimes we're not gonna like Trick Room very well, and we need something to have in the Trick Room matchup. But not only that, we can have a little bit of Redirection for the Landorus. Because we're going to have a Swords Dance set on it, and also the Blastoise. If you remember from Series 11, I had these two together on that Dialga team I made, and this Blastoise is going to have that kind of set. And if you don't remember it, or if you didn't watch that squad from Series 11, stay tuned, because the Blastoise and Amoongus are going to have some shenanigans in here. And we're going to play a little bit greedy, as always. But this is the 6. At the end, I'll show you a slightly different 6 that I think is still good, with most of these same mons, but that's like a Team Building 2 version. But for now, let's just hash out the EVs, items, and movesets of this 6. And before we do that, I just want to reveal the GIFs. Let's go here. Blastoise, Landorus, Regieleki, and Amoongus. All right, that's our 6. So let's go ahead and start finishing out this team. So let's start with Yveltal first. So it's a no-brainer here. I think its best item is Assault Vest. There's some weakness policy Yveltals and Life Orb Yveltals there. I think those two items are still very, very nice and still very good. It depends on the team, of course, but if you want those sets, I don't think it belongs on this kind of team. But right now, I think the Assault Vest is the best item. And we're going to keep it standard here with the Yveltal. We're going to go with Oblivion Wing. Okay, this becomes your recovery move. This is Stab Airstream. You're gonna have, of course, Snarl. Actually, I'll leave Snarl for last. Let's go Foul Play here. This is good against potential weakness policy mons, like a Calyrex or like an opposing Zacian. Do you know how much damage Foul Play does to Zacian? I'll show you that in the damage calc. I don't think people understand that even though it's not very effective, you have to understand how much Foul Play does, and that's gonna affect how you play against Zacian in the end game. But after that, we have Sucker Punch, and then Snarl, right? The Sucker Punch absolutely just pins the Calyrex Shadow Rider. It can't do anything when it's in front of this thing. But yeah, that's why we run this set. So then next here, the Zacian, again, standard set. Behemoth Blade, Sacred Sword, I think is very nice, because things are going for max Steel Spikes, and Sacred Sword is really, really good against that. If you want close combat, you can run close combat, but you're definitely going to want to run Play Rough here, mainly because we need something against opposing Palkias and even Yveltals in general. Now we do have enough. We do have Regieleki, and we're gonna have an Ice move on Blastoise, and we have a Rock move on Landorus, so it's not necessary there. But the opposing dragons, we are gonna need it, and Palkia is gonna be one that we have to respect, okay? Because that is an A-tier Pokemon. All right, you might be wondering, wait a minute, we have an Amoongus. Why can't we just do Swords Dance and play greedy? I mean, if you want to do that, yeah, I listen, on this channel, we always support green, and I am all for it. But at the moment, I think we have to do Play Rough. But I am thinking about the Swords Dance set. But honestly, I think we're still okay with Play Rough. But if you want Swords Dance, go for it. The Regieleki here, this is going to be a standard one. Oh, actually, no. I'm thinking about this. Actually, we're going to change this. So this is going to have the Lumberry. Right? This is going to have the Lumberry. But this is going to have the Life Orb. Yeah, we're going with Violence Regieleki here. So we're going to have Electroweb, which is going to hurt really, really hard. We're going to have that Hyper Beam for that, you know, when we Dynamax, it's going to be, you know, max strike speed control. And then, of course, Rising Voltage here. You can go Thunderbolt if you want, or Volt Switch. I think both of those are good. If anything, Volt Switch would be the better one, just so that you can pivot out. And then Protect in the last one. But for now, I'm going with Violence here. We're going to go Rising Voltage. Okay, so this way when we're out of max, this thing hits like a truck. All right, Landorus, this is the Lumberry set. So, you know, Earthquake, that's Earth Power, Fly, Rock, Slide, and Swords Dance. All right, there's the Greed. Now, the Blastoise here, we're going to go White Herb. There we go. That should already tell you something. We're going Hydro Cannon here. Okay, we're going to have Icy Wind. Now you might say, well, why not Blizzard or Ice Beam? Again, I'm trying to have the Blastoise usable outside of max, because once Dynamax is over, what are you clicking? Hydro Cannons? Maybe you'll click Ice Beam, yeah, but I think the speed control is very valuable on Blastoise here. So we're gonna go with that, and then from here, I think, yeah, oh yeah, we have to go Shell Smash. And then also what I think is nice is Helping Hand. Okay, now can you go Fake Out? Sure. The Yawn is a little bit tricky because, you know, we have a Dynamax Alecki on the team, but you can run it if you want. But I do like Helping Hand. But if you like Fake Out, if you like Yawn, all right, then these are all good moves. And I'll show you a different Blastoise set when I show you a second version of the team. But I do like Helping Hand Blastoise here. And again, we have the Amoongus here. This is going to be our Sashmon. Okay, Redirection. And then from here, of course, we're going to have Rage Powder, we're going to have Spore, we're going to have Pollen Puff, and we're going to have Protect, right? So the beauty with Pollen Puff is you can heal your Landorus, you can heal your Blastoise, you can heal everything, really. And the main idea is, you know, actually not Hydro Cannon, hold on. No, this is Water Spout, sorry. The main thing is, you know, when Blastoise gets really low, and after the Shell Smash, you can heal it up with Pollen Puff, and now your Water Spout does a little bit more damage. Okay, so this is the moveset, right? So we got the Amoongus, we got the Blastoise, Landorus, Alecki, Zacian, and Yveltal, right? This is it. So we have some speed control with the Icy Wind, we have some speed control with Electroweb, we have Redirection with the Amoongus, we have Intimidate with the Landorus. So we got some VGC tools on this team. Okay, and then we have two Airstream users, Yveltal and Zacian. I'm sorry, Yveltal and Landorus, and we have our Zacian as our breaker, our end game. But yeah, this is the 6. So now let's just go ahead and do the Movesets. I'm sorry, the EVs here. So we're gonna go Modest Yveltal, and we're gonna use a very standard set that's been popular for a while now. So we're gonna go Max Speed Yveltal, which is very, very nice. And we're just going to go first bump in Modest. All right, right here, 60 to 68. Again, we don't need to deal that much damage because, you know, our goal is to be disruptive, right? We're trying to weaken the opponent, you know, with, you know, Snarls and Oblivion Wings and Foul Play, things like that. That's Yveltal's main role. And, of course, it can max now with Airstreams and Max Darknesses to help things like Regieleki and Blastoise do more damage. But, yeah. Here we go. So we have this, and then from here, what we want is we're gonna go all the way to right here, 223. Why 223? So a little bit of math. This is just to optimize your weather damage. So if there's hail or sand, 223 divided by 16 is 13.9, which rounds down to 13. So you're only going to be taking 13 damage per turn from the weather damage. And then from here, you just want a little bit remaining in the bulk. And you always want an even number here in the special defense. So this way you get the biggest bang for your buck with the assault vest. because remember, it's multiplying your special defense by 1.5. So if this is an odd number like this, for an example, then 119 times 1.5, for example, just to do quick math here on my calculator, it's going to be 178.5, which rounds down to 178. So you're not capitalizing on the assault vest. So you got to go with that even number. So this way, you know, you get the full benefit of that AV or assault vest, right? So that's our Yveltal spread. Now Zacian here, you can go Jolly here. I don't have a Grimmsnarl here, but I do have Amoongus. You know, the more I look at the Amoongus and the Zacian, the more I want Swords Dance here. But I'm not giving up Protect. I'm not going to do that. So let's just go Adamant here. I think we'll go a little bit Violent Zacian. Let's go to 148 this time. So what this does is, let's 187 divided times 1.5. This should outspeed Regieleki, right? Yeah, it does. So this will outspeed Regieleki speed creepers. All you need is 185, I believe, but we're trying to outspeed them, so let's go to 187. If you want 189, that's for Cinderace, and you're more than welcome to do that. But I just don't think it's that relevant at the moment. I haven't really seen it, so I'm sticking with 187 until otherwise. From here, just gonna add a little bit of HP, actually a lot of HP up until 191, and again, this is to optimize my HP for my weather damage. Actually, we don't even care about that. We're Zacian. But the attack stat is the main thing. Let's go to 156. So again, you see how we're at 229, the second EV bump. We're gonna go to 156 and it'll go to 231. So beep, you see how it skipped 230. And again, if you don't know what an EV bump is, feel free to comment in the video below. I always like to explain what EV bumps are. People ask me all the time, and I'll be happy to explain it. But if you want to play competitive Pokemon, you got to know what EV bumps are. All right, so don't be shy. Go ahead and ask. All right, from here, just a little bit of bulk here, a little bit of bulk here, and I believe this should be fine. Oh yeah, let's just go here, 164. So this way we get the benefit of the times 1.5 bonus from the Intrepid Sword ability. All right, so that's our Zacian spread. It's just meant to outspeed Alecki after a +1, or if we give it a -1, right? All right, Regieleki. So we're gonna keep it standard here. We'll still go max timid, but we're just gonna optimize a tiny little bit of chip with the Life Orb here. I can go bulky with this Regieleki, where I can do something like this, where I'm at 156, and then just add like a little bit of bulk. I can do this, but I don't think it's necessary. I think we're just gonna go for full violence here. And if you don't like this, if you think this bulk is minuscule, then just do this. Where is it? Just do this. This is fine. I mean, I'm not gonna yell at you in this case, but for me, just a little bit of chip here. So right there. Okay, that's fine. There's our Alecki spread. This is very common with Life Orb Alecki. All right. Now, if there was Tailwind, I would make it a little bit bulkier and hit harder and go modest, but there's no Tailwind. So, yeah. Landorus. Okay, so what we want to do is also outspeed Yveltal, right? So this way we can Earthquake first next to it. So I want to be able to outspeed it. So I'm going to go Jolly here. Now, the thing is, if I go 152, I outspeed it. But the problem is this is already 1 point from the bump, and I have to go for it. So I'm going to go for it with 154. So there's my Landorus, right? And then from here, I'm just going to optimize my weather damage here to 175, and just a little bit of bulk where I have an even number for max quake boost, and then just 180 in the attack stat, you know, just for earthquakes, right? And the Landorus doesn't hit that hard at the moment, right? It's okay. But you do have that Swords Dance potential, and a lot of the damage will be done with Regieleki, you know, with the Life Orb. So this way, even though your Landorus doesn't do as much damage as maybe some of the others, the fact that, you know, its partner Mon does so much will compensate, right? And even the Blastoise will capitalize. So that's our Landorus spread. Okay, but again, if you don't care for that, you can just do this. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to yell at you for that, but I'm just adding a little bit of bulk. This is also helpful against opposing Zacians after you intimidate them. So this way you can live a hit. I think you can live a hit regardless if you bring it to neutral, but you know, I want a little bit of health left over. Okay, Blastoise here. This one, again, we're gonna go modest. Okay, I think that's fine. And then our speed, so we can go 112 here. This will outspeed Calyrex Shadow after 2 Airstreams or after a couple of Icy Winds or a couple of E-Webs. We'll outspeed base 100s after a +1 or if we give them a -1. I'm just gonna go 1 above it just to outspeed those speed creepers. I think that's fine. And same thing, we're just gonna add some bulk here to our Blastoise for the weather damage. And you know, just tiny bit here, and then everything else just goes into your special attack stat. And I think this is fine. Oh, I added 114. Now let's just go here. We want that 146. So after the Shell Smash, now we're doing big damage. Okay, so this is always nice. And then from here, the Amoongus. Again, so the thing with the Amoongus, okay, we're gonna go 0 IV speed, obviously, right? I think relax would be ideal, just so that in this case we have a little bit more bulk against opposing Zacian Behemoth Blades, against opposing Incineroar Flare Blitzes. So I think that's useful. We're gonna go here to 219 HP stat to optimize our regenerator recovery because we get 1/3 of it back when we switch out. So 219 is a nice number to hit for that. And then we'll just go second EV bump here with our defense. So you see how we went from 108 to 110, right? That's our first bump. And then 80 more EVs. That's 116. I'm sorry, 156. That will be the second bump. Where is it? Right here. Beep, 121. And then the rest can go into your special defense, all right? And that's our Amoongus. All right. So yeah, I think this is it. So let's just go ahead and make this a paste. And there it is. Okay, yeah. So again, we have some combos here. I'm gonna have fun with this Dynamax Gieleki, and you know, it's gonna be good with Blastoise, and I'll show you why. I was already testing this on Showdown, and I'll show you some of those sample battles. But yeah, this is it. We got some speed control. We have Intimidate. We have Redirection. We have a Trick Room matchup if we need it. Again, we have the Zacian and Yveltal that can just, you know, finish the job from the back after your Landorus or Blastoise or even Gieleki are done with their max. But yeah, this is it. So now let's just go ahead and show you a couple of calcs, and then we'll test it out in a few battles. Okay, so let's look at Yveltal first. So this is against Regieleki with no Life Orb or Magnet. You take the Thunderbolt a little bit okay, right? 70% at most. If this had Magnet, how much are we taking? 83%. And if this had a Life Orb, you know, I still think we're chilling. Yeah, 91. So, and if we max and they max, then it's okay, right? We're kind of chilling here. So there's that. Another one is the Landorus, okay, or even like Groudon stuff. So Landorus, because this is now a physical attack. So now with the Rock Fall, the Rock Slide. So the Rock Slide is only going to do about 38%. So that's pretty good. And now if this was a max, the max Rock Fall still doesn't even kill Yveltal when it's full health. If it's Jolly 252, 252, and if we're max, then it doesn't even do half. So there's that. Groudon, more or less the same idea. So let's just say this was 156 or 164 rather. Groudon. Again, that Rockfall is not doing a whole lot, and you know, if we bring it down here, so again, just about 41%. It's still just not doing that much damage to Yveltal. This thing is bulky, and look how much foul play is doing here. Okay, and you know, let me show you Zacian stuff now. So with Zacian, a couple things to note. Okay, let's go with standard Zacian first. Look how much foul play is doing to regular Zacian. It does 51 to 61% damage to a Zacian, right? It does basically at least half. Okay, this is not if they're not adamant. All right, if they're adamant, different story. But if they're Jolly and this is doing this much damage, then all you really need to do to Zacian is just chip it so that Yveltal can finish the game in the back. Okay, chip it, get a little bit of speed control, click foul play, and then, you know, the Zacian can't kill you because, you know, you have the Behemoth Blade is not killing you, and, you know, not all of them are running play rough. If they are running play rough, if you intimidate it, you know, it can kill you, but the roll is very, very low. Okay, so there's that. And if they're running adamant, if they're adamant Zacian, now that's a different story. Some of them, they go very, very bulky. They go like 180 HP or something like that. and then they go like 164. This is like Adamant Zacian, like our Zacian, right? This play rough is just going to absolutely annihilate this Yveltal, right? It has a 50% chance to KO, so you have to be careful here. But again, the foul play, if they're adamant, if you get speed control on this, look at this. Like, this is doing like almost half. Okay, so you're gonna want to take the, oh wait, I put it to whatchamacallit. No, I don't need to put it to +1. It's already as it is. But yeah, the fact that foul play can do this much, if you can just get the Blastoise or the Regieleki to electroweb it, all right, we're fine. Because then you can pretty much almost finish it off with the foul play, all right? And you know, Aleki's Life Orb here, so it's gonna take big damage. But yeah, I just wanted to show that calc real quick. Now, what about like Kyogre shenanigans? How much does Water Spout do? So let's look at this. So let's say it's 252, 252, modest, right? 252, 252, modest. Okay, you live it, right? 74%. And you know, if it's a modest Kyogre and Regieleki, right? So what about like electroweb plus, you know, Water Spout? How much is that doing? So let's say, so at max this is about 74, the high roll. Let's say a standard Regieleki, right? No magnet. Let's say it's sashed. Usually they're gonna be sashed. So electrowebs. All right, 32, 74 and 32. That's 106. Okay, so it can potentially KO. All right, so that's something to note. But again, that's like the absolute highest roll. That's like if Regieleki high rolls and Kyogre high rolls. And not all Kyogres are modest, so that's also something else to consider. If it was timid Kyogre, you know, depending on the squad, let's just put it at timid, and let's just go 252, 252. Okay, if it was timid, then you live, right? Because then you're okay. But if it's not, then you have to be a little bit aware. So, but still, you know, it's only if they absolutely high roll it. So it's just something to be aware of. When they lead Kyogre Regieleki and you lead Yveltal, you just have to be aware of that. This is why Grimmsnarl is really good, which I'll show you in the second version of the team. But yeah, those are I think those are the common Yveltal calcs that you're going to want to know. So now let's take a look at a few others. Okay, so this is the Amoongus calc. So again, this is Jolly 252, 252 Zacian, and you do take it. If it was adamant, max attack, I can't imagine someone doing this unless you're Neil. Then this is 92%. You still live, okay? So even an adamant 252, 252 Zacian cannot kill this thick mushroom, okay? What about like an Incineroar Flare Blitz? So let's look at Incin with just 4 attack. That's an adamant Incin, I'm sorry. That's like my Series 11 set, the goggles set. Okay, fine, goggles. So Flare Blitz, 80, max roll 83%. So we definitely live that as well. And which are the two main things you're gonna want to live, right? So I think that's definitely fine. Everything else we don't really care about. The physical ones is what we need. All right, so this way, if it comes down to it, there's a Zacian and you have an Yveltal and you have an Amoongus, you redirect that steel move or that play rough, and then Yveltal can just click foul play on the Zacian and then you're fine. So that's the main idea there. All right, and for Zacian, this is a no-brainer. Like, play rough just absolutely annihilates Palkia. Now, if there was light screen on the field, I'm sorry, reflect on Palkia's end, it still dies, and that's the main thing that you have to note when you're adamant Zacian with this much attack. Have no fear, right? You can just click it, and then, again, this is like this is my Palkia set, where it has some Life Orb bulk, and then with reflect, and that's still not stopping Zacian. So that's the main thing you have to consider. What if this was Dynamax? How much is this doing? It's not going to KO, but oh my god, that does more than half. That's kind of ridiculous to reflect. And if there is no reflect, then it does live. It does live if there's no reflect, but even then, I mean, your Dynamax just lost almost all its health. So that's something to be aware of. You know, and that's the main one that we want to consider, right? Because this is the thing that's supposed to wall Zacian. This is the thing that is making Zacian's run play rough in the first place, all right? Because Behemoth Blade in that fighting move is not doing that much damage. So now you know why Zacians are running play rough now. So that's that. Okay, we're back on the Teal Pens 1 account. Usually I like to make a new account when I try and use a squad. This way, all the data is only specifically for that one, but I forgot to change it, and I just kept going with the Teal Pens 1 account, but it doesn't matter. So we got a typical Sun team here with Zacian and then the Sun Boys, the Sun 5, right? Very standard. So, you know, he could do a couple things. He could lead Venusaur and Grimmsnarl with Zacian and Groudon in the back. He can go straight up Venusaur Groudon. He can go Grimmsnarl and, you know, Charizard with Groudon in the back, and then Instant in the back for him. There's a lot of different things he can do, but I think either way, I'm going with the Lecky and I'm going with Landorus, because if he leads the Groudon, it gets intimidated, all right? And if he keeps it in the back, then the Venusaur doesn't get the speed boost, and then I can just click, you know, Airstream into it, and I have a Lumberry. So either way, I'm leading Landorus no matter what. Even if he leads Instant, that's okay, because, you know, I can just repivot my Landorus for a better position, and then just chip the Instant with my second partner, which is the Yveltal here. All right, but remember, this is a Life Orb Yveltal. All right, so there's the Groudon, and here's the Venusaur. So I think this is a mistake by him, because now his Groudon's intimidated. Now he can go for Swords Dance. I don't care, because I have a lot of tools in the back for Groudon. The Venusaur is what I care about because of the Sun matchup and the Sleep Powder shenanigans. So either way, here's what I do. I'm going to max the Landorus. I'm going to protect the Yveltal in case he goes for P-Blades. He tries the Sleep Powder. Again, that's not going to work. We have the Clover Berry, which is Lumberry. There's the Airstream, and he's not even Sash, right? So there's that. And he goes for Swords Dance, so that's fine by me. So there's the Grimmsnarl. I'm just going to pivot into Yveltal because this is something I want to foul play. He maxes the Groudon. He does a power swap. I don't know about that one. So Airstream. So this tells me one thing, right? If he screens Grimmsnarl, for example, so that tells me Spirit Break, Power Swap, Light Screen Reflect. If he screens, right? We don't know if he screens, but that's what I'm assuming, which means he has no speed control move. Okay, so he goes for Rockfall. That does nothing into Landorus. I don't know why he did that. But now so he does have the screens, right? So again, that tells me Light Screen Reflect, Spirit Break, and Power Swap. For some reason, he has Power Swap. All right, so we're chipping the Groudon here. We're letting the Zacian come in the back and finish the job because Grimmsnarl is not really doing anything. He clicked Light Screen into a physical Mon. I don't know why he did that. But again, there's his Citrus Berry. He goes for Rockfall again. He goes for the Yveltal instead. He kills the Yveltal, but that's okay. We've chipped the Groudon more than enough because now we're faster. So here's the Zacian. He can't outspeed me, right? This is my thinking. So, you know, he goes for Thunder Wave. Okay, so hold on. He has Light Screen, Thunder Wave, Power Swap. So either he gave up Reflect or he has no Spirit Break. That's what I'm thinking. Or he has Sucker Punch or something. So that was a little unexpected. I did not think about that. So he just Quakes my Zacian and then he kills it. Alright, I mean, so he killed both my Restricteds, but this is still okay because we have the Yveltal. We just have to remove the Groudon, and then Yveltal should be able to clean up here. So there's the Earthquake. We remove the Groudon. He goes through Spirit Break. He crits my Landorus, but again, that's not going to KO here. But again, I'm surprised the Grimmsnarl didn't go down here. So all he has left is the Zacian here. This Grimmsnarl is not doing much. I am faster. I can't protect the Yveltal again, but what I can do is get speed control with it. Okay, so he does another power swap. I don't know what he's doing here. So I'm going to fly. I click the E-Webs. All right, so now I have the speed on the Zacian, and he didn't click protect. All right, if he did, then that could have potentially won him the game, but he didn't. But he could have killed the Yveltal. He decided not to. So my Landorus goes for fly, but it doesn't matter because then I would just click Earthquake next turn anyway. And there it is. So even though we lost both our Restricteds, we got a good enough position, and our Landorus was buffed enough where we can just sweep him. And that's what Sun teams have to struggle with, you know. Landorus is an absolute Sun killer. Okay, these next few battles are a funny sequence. So I'm just going to go through them. So he has Tyranitar here. I'm pretty sure that's for Calyrex Shadow. But unfortunately, this is not a meta where T-Tar can do well. Maybe it can, and we just haven't explored it yet. But Urshifu is down. So that's one thing. So maybe it can do well. And there's less Rillaboom. But again, there's still a lot of Intimidate. But yeah, I think there might be a niche for T-Tar at some point. It just hasn't been explored yet. But to me, this is what I'm going to do. There's my Yveltal and there's my Blastoise. And let me show you the combination with the Yveltal and the Blastoise. So he leads his Instant and Kyogre. Okay, so right now he sees that he procced my Wider. So right now he thinks this is a Dynamax Blastoise and this Yveltal is going for something like electroweb. All right, but we're playing the mind games here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna max the Yveltal. We're gonna click. He goes for the fake out. We knew that, and then he didn't even protect the Kyogre. And then now we just click the water spout button, right? Because we have the rain, we might as well. And that's what happens, right? We played the mind game. Now he just has a Zacian, he has a Tyranitar. This is not going to do anything. We have our own Zacian in the back. We just have to kill their Zacian. T-Tar can do whatever it wants. I don't want to proc the policy, so I'm just going to keep helping handing my Yveltal. And look how much damage this does into the Zacian. That's almost in range for Yveltal. There's a Max Knuckle. That's definitely in range of Yveltal now. I don't even have to do anything else. But I'm going to Helping Hand again. Remove the Zacian, and down it goes. Alright, and the T-Tar, he can kill whatever he wants here. It doesn't matter. He goes for the Blastoise instead. Doesn't even kill the Blastoise. It's the sand that takes it out. Alright, and now we bring in the Zacian. Okay, and remember, we're Life Orb Yveltal. Look how much damage that does to T-Tar, even though he has the sand. And then Zacian just cleans up and Behemoth Blade. So this is what I mean, right? You do the damage with your supporting mons, and then Zacian or Yveltal just cleans up in the back. All right, now let me show you this one. Yeah, this is an absolutely funny one. So he has Instant Dusclops here. He probably wants to set up Trick Room of some sort. He actually does Instant Whimsicott. I have no idea what this is. All right, but again, he sees that he procced my White Herb. Okay, so I'm going to go for the same exact play. All right, I don't think this KO's Instant. I want to be safe. So I go for the Helping Hand play. And he actually guessed right, but I clicked Helping Hand. And that's why you have to do that. And he goes for Moonblast. So this tells me he had nothing in the back. So he had probably like Yveltal or something. And that's not going to do well. So that was that. Here's another one. This one is, again, Instant P2. There's Kyogre here. Yveltal, Blastoise seems like another good lead. Okay, so what does he lead? He goes another, again, Instant and P2. Okay, sure. And now again, he sees that he procced my White Herb. He probably thinks Max Blastoise and like Regieleki does something, right? But again, you know, he traced Transistor, which is funny. So we're gonna Max Lightning this P2. He didn't even go for Fake Out. Actually, I think he did. But we just clicked Water Spout and we ended his career. Did he click Fake Out? I don't even know what he... No, he wasn't even going for Fake Out. And then, yeah, that was it. I mean, so he had nothing. Okay, so this is another... This is a weird one. I remember this game. I tried to go for the same thing. So this is Instant. This is Whimsicott again. So here's my Yveltal and here's my Blastoise. So I'm going for the same kind of play. All right. He could go for Tailwind. But again, I'm trying to remove the Instant because that's what's going to kill Zacian later. And there's the Lightning and down goes Instant. All right. I didn't see the Tailwind, so that means he's Trick Room Whimsicott. Okay. And that's a problem now because there's the Calyrex. You know, I could have stalled this one, at least one more turn by protecting, but I decided let's make him guess. Let's make him do something. So he maxes the Calyrex. He goes for Encore. I stayed in with the Blastoise, by the way. I didn't want to switch in anything because I didn't really have a safe switch in. But yeah, now I'm in a little bit of trouble here, but I can still probably stall this out. So I'm going to protect the Zacian this turn and swap into Amoongus because I have Trick Room. And there's the Yveltal, so smart play from him. Okay, but there's the Knuckle, so we're fine there. He boosts Yveltal's attack, which is interesting. But again, I have a Redirection Mon, all right, and I could have ended the Calyrex's career right there, but I decided to go for the Yveltal instead because I knew that once Trick Room was up, this Calyrex can't stop me, but the Yveltal could possibly stop me, right? So one turn of Trick Room left. So this is an easy protect, and the Blast. So he goes for Glacial Lance, and he actually kills my Blastoise. He's +3. Oh my god, that's insane. And he's Dark Pulse Yveltal, so that's another thing. But there's the Behemoth. I thought he would protect there. If he had protect, he would have won the game, but he didn't have protect. So that means Zacian just wins this game. Play rough, and there it is. I could have clicked Behemoth Blade. I wasn't sure if that was gonna kill, but play rough I knew would. So I stalled the Trick Room. Amoongus came in the clutch. It redirected the move that I needed it to, and we remove his partner Mon, and that was that. I don't think he had Protect. He had Close Combat. He had Glacial Lance. Maybe he had High Horsepower or Trick Room, but he did not have Protect. Okay, so that's one thing to note. All right, let's look at a couple more. Oh yeah, I remember this one. This guy talked a lot of trash in the game. So Instant Dusclops with Groudon, and there's Kyogre. So dual weather, but with Trick Room, right? This was an interesting one. So he goes with Dusclops and Venusaur, right? And here's my Yveltal, and here's my Landorus. So I'm being very aggressive here, right? Because I thought this would be instant Dusclops, so that's why I led Yveltal Landorus, because, you know, I wanted to, you know, potentially intimidate it if there was a Groudon lead, and I wanted to put pressure on the Venusaur with the Landorus or even the Yveltal. But now that he led the Dusclops, so what I want to do is I want to max the Yveltal and go for max Darkness, and then just go for the Earthquake and hope for the best, right? So, all right, he could swap into Groudon, but again, that's fine. So, you know, I'm going for a little bit of a risk here. He didn't click the Sleep Powder. I went for the Earthquake. He didn't switch into Groudon, and I'm surprised that didn't kill. I'm really shocked that did not kill. So he slept my Yveltal, and there's the Trick Room. So I'm in a little bit of trouble, and he goes for Gravity, and he goes for accurate Sleep Powders, but that's not going to work because I had the Lumberry, and now we KO both mons. So we're okay. We're actually in not a bad spot, because now I can just intimidate this Groudon forever. I'm going to go into my Amoongus. All right, he says GG for some reason. He has the Clover Tech of Max Lightning. All right, that's kind of cool. He doesn't kill my Yveltal. He gets my Amoongus to Sash, but he burns me. So that's a little unfortunate. Otherwise, I'm clicking Sleep Powder and he's done. But Yveltal does live, and we do crit the Charizard, so that was well-deserved, in my opinion, because he lived with the Dusclops and my Amoongus got burned, so it's only fair game. And now he does kill the Yveltal, but that's okay, because I get a free Earthquake here, which I think is kind of cool. There's the Zacian, and of course this is the last turn of Trick Room. We're just going to protect the Zacian, deal a little bit of damage with the Landorus, and then his max is over. Okay, and you know, we're just going to finish the job here with Behemoth Blade. We're Adamant, we're second EV bump. He actually lived this. I was very surprised, but Gravity makes it so that this Rock Slide doesn't miss. And we say GG, we say got him right back, and he leaves the room. So yeah, overall, yeah, I think it was a very functional team. Okay, now let me show you a second version of this team, but with slightly different sets and whatnot. So instead of the Amoongus, we can go bulkier with the Grimmsnarl screens. All right, this is, again, the holy grail of Series 12. So Spirit Break, Light Screen, Reflect, all right, and, you know, this could be Thunder Wave or Scary Face. I'm going with Scary Face. You can choose whichever one you want. Same kind of Grimmsnarl set that we've been using. The main difference here is... Actually, there is no difference. So second EV bump in there, 103 number there. All right, 4 attack here, and the rest in HP. Now the whole thing is with Reflect and the Landorus switching, you can live a Jolly Behemoth Blade into Grimmsnarl from a Jolly Zacian. All right, you also have a very nice roll against Adamant Zacian, but if you want to fully live it, then what you do is this. You take a little bit off, and you go to, I believe, 156. All right, and now you can live the Adamant Behemoth Blade after Landorus switching behind Reflect. Okay, so there's that. But if you don't care for that, then this is the set that you can do. But I'm going to change a few things here. If you're going to have the Grimmsnarl on this team, you technically can leave it like this, but I think what's better here in this case is Focus Sash, Regieleki, and then just go with Thunderbolt. All right, and Volt Switch for that pivot move. All right, and then just go 252, 252. Okay, this is fine. And now what we do is we put the Life Orb on the Landorus. So now your Landorus does big damage. All right, and we'll optimize this in a second. All right, we'll just go max speed here and then just 204, right? This is actually okay. And then instead of Swords Dance, we have Protect, right? Protect is good. Because, you know, there's certain times where you just don't want to switch, but you need to be able to safely pivot on one slot, and then you just protect the Landorus. And it's also good installing out Tailwind or Trick Room turns instead of being forced to pivot. So Protect is good. Now the Blastoise here, we're going to change the set. We don't have the Amoongus anymore, so we're going to keep the Eevees the same, but instead we're going to put the Wakanberry here for that electric resist, and instead of Shell Smash and Water Spout, we're going to go for Hydro Cannon. Okay, Icy Wind, that speed control move. We are going to go with Yawn now because we're not really Dynamaxing the Yveltal as much, and you can keep the Helping Hand honestly if you want, but I think Fake Out is good on this kind of set. So now you have a lot of utility when Blastoise is not even Dynamax. You can click Icy Wind, you can Yawn things, you can Fake Out and pivot. You know, so all in all, it's really nice in terms of what we want this Blastoise to do. And the Grimmsnarl just makes the magic all work with the screen support. So Landorus can, you know, potentially Dynamax with all these screens. Blastoise can max with the screens, and then, you know, Yveltal and Zacian come in the back and they just finish the job. So this is, we'll call this a second version of the squad. All right. So now let's just go ahead and look at both pace. All right, so again, this is version 1 where we have the Life Orb Gieleki shenanigans with the Landorus and Amoongus combination. We also have the Blastoise Amoongus. You can always click Rage Powder and click Shell Smash and then just go for those big Water Spout plays, or you can even Dynamax the Blastoise. But again, if they have the instant, you can always go Blastoise Regieleki, play the mind games, Dynamax the Gieleki, Helping Hand, smash things. And again, Yveltal and Zacian, they're relatively standard. They just do the job from the back. You can even lead the Yveltal or the Zacian, right? You can even lead like Landorus, Zacian, just apply all that immediate pressure. Regieleki Zacian is also a good one. Just a lot of offensive pressure if you want to do it with this kind of team. This is a little bit with the bulk, with the Grimmsnarl. You have a harder hitting Landorus now with Protect. Your Gieleki is Sash, so you can take a hit, and you have that pivot move with Volt Switch. Your Blastoise has a little bit more utility with Yawn and Fake Out. Not that you didn't have it on the other set, but you did have Helping Hand, and Icy Wind still there too. But this is a little bit more of a useful Blastoise that's not maxed. And then Yveltal and Zacian, they just enjoy the bulk behind the screen. So let me know which one you like. Do you like version 1 with the Greed with Shell Smash and Swords Dance, or you know, I really wanted to put Swords Dance here instead of Play Rough? Or do you like version 2 where we put the Cloverbell's Grimmsnarl on the team? We go Life Orb Lando, Sash Gieleki, and Blastoise Wakanberry with this utility set. So a little bit different than those Gastrodon Rotom Heat teams, but this is still cool. These are still cool teams, right? You know, with this 6, version 1, version 2, I think it's still correct in what we want to do. The thing with, you know, opposing Gastrodons is you're going to have to overwhelm it. But yeah, I think you have enough to deal with it. All right, so let me know which one you like, and we'll make one of these a rental. But until next time, we'll be back with more Series 12 content. Have a good one.